Hatapu. This is Nia Yah with the Raseki Arts Temple, and I am here today to speak about a very serious topic. It is an issue that is running rampant in our community, in our conscious community, as well as the community at large, and it's something that we need to speak about and begin to make moves to resolve. And the issue is domestic violence, and I am currently dealing with a few people who are dealing with this issue. Personally, I too have been in a domestic violent relationship and have gotten out of it. And so it is something that is very dear to my heart. And it's important for us to talk about it because we don't really talk about it enough. And there are too many cases of people even getting killed from domestic violence. And it's time for us to address it a little bit more and more and more. And so I wanted to, just bring some solutions so people who are dealing with these kind of situations can seek some help, can seek, to change their situation, and move to a better situation, because it's not right, and it's not in my art, and it's not acceptable for anyone to speak to you or belittle you or demean you in any way. It's not right for anyone to put their hands on you, to touch you, to hurt you or harm you in any way. Um, Grown people are not supposed to do that to other grown people. We are supposed to communicate and talk, and be able to work our issues out with our mouths. And if we are unable to do that, then we should not be in relationships until that time that we can communicate properly and not hit and abuse someone. So, I wanted to just put that out there first and foremost, because that is the most important thing for everyone to understand. It's not right, it's not acceptable, and it must stop. We must be able to control ourselves. We must be able to control our bodies and our mouths and how we communicate, and begin to raise our vibration and do better and treat each other better with love, with harmony, with peace. If you are upset about a thing, you should wait to talk about it until you calm down. Take some deep breaths, go say some prayers, do what you need to do, but do not start an argument. And sometimes that happens. People, don't know how to deal with their emotions and start arguments. And that's not right either, when you try to provoke someone into it or pull someone into an argument. That is just as bad as the abuse. A lot of times people who were in abusive or were in abusive relationships before, or if they were raised seeing abuse, then they tend to have that kind of behavior. It's kind of like a backlash of that, because they think it's normal. But actually, it's normal for grown people to know how to speak and communicate and resolve their issues without even raising their voices. Actually, you should be able to talk it out. Just, whatever it is, just talk it out and deal with it, the best that you can, without raising your voice or raising your hand. So communication is key. Another thing that I would say is very important, and what I see with relationships that I know that have been long standing, is spirituality. So the families that share the same spiritual belief system, rituals, they share the same ideals, however you want to say it, but they do practice together, they pray together. That brings strength to your family, that brings strength to your relationship. And also, when you're having or dealing with a higher vibration, then usually the abuse is not there, because you raise your vibration and you're able to communicate. You know how to take those deep breaths and meditate and do the things that you need to do personally to make sure that your relationship will not be affected by your emotions. And that is another thing. a lot of times we jump into relationships, we have children and things like that, and we are not mature individually, which can cause issues if we are not able to take care of ourselves. We should not be trying to take care of a family. So that is first and foremost, because that is going to create some issues. And then also, um, if you're not clear about who you are as a person, if you haven't really truly discovered yourself and found your purpose and found a means to take care of yourself, um, or a means or dreams that you're living for, goals that you're living for, all those kind of things, that too can be an issue and cause problems in a relationship. So, those things you want to do before you live with someone to help prevent arguments and problems and stuff like that, because a lot of times people argue because of finances and just basic things that we could have taken care of first before we had the relationship. So but getting back to the spirituality, definitely, even if you are in a serious abusive relationship right now, using that prayer, using that power of spirituality in your family and making that connection, asking your ancestors for help, asking the creator, your spirit guides, your deities, however you want to look at it, to intercede. And both parties have to do it, because it takes both parties to fight. One person cannot fight with themselves. So, one person praying is not going to be enough. It will have to be both parties, because the healing needs to happen for both persons, the abuser and the one who is being abused. So, definitely consider that. And I can add to that, you can always leave a bad relationship, an abusive relationship. Not saying that you have to leave forever, but sometimes leaving before the argument gets heated can stop it from happening. Sometimes having a time away from each other, a time to really, miss each other, to learn to appreciate each other more, whatever. Sometimes that really does help. So separation can be a good thing. It's not always the best if you have children involved and a lot of other things tied up. That could be a difficult thing. But ultimately, you want to do what's best for yourself. You want to do what's best for the children first, if you have them. And if you all are arguing all the time, it's not best for those children to see that, because they will continue to perpetuate that same behavior when they get older. But making those decisions for yourself, doing what's best for yourself and the children, means having peace and being able to, live in a way that is not harmful to you or those children. So, you definitely have to keep that in mind. You may also want to seek out some counsel from elders. So there should be some people in your family or in your community who have successful relationships, and that is important, that you can speak to, that can be of some assistance. And again, both parties will have to get that counsel. One person getting it is good, but it's not going to be the same unless both parties, get that counsel and that help and talk to those elders and really understand, what is expected of them, and this, all the things that, there's so many things that people can have confusion about, that elders can help, because they've been through a lot of stuff that we have not been through. They have wisdom. If they're still alive, believe me, they have wisdom. Most of them, and I mean the elders, not just old people, but ones who you can look at them and see that they're at peace with themselves, and they're living a good life even in their older age. So talking to them can be very helpful, and definitely you want to talk to someone, because you have to do something to shift that relationship. You have to shift the dynamics, and it takes work to shift. So speaking to people about it, talking about it yourself, and getting your feelings out, both parties doing that, is very, very important for the healing of that relationship and the shifting of it and the ending of that abuse. And then you also would want to consider setting up an agreement for your relationship. It is a traditional African thing to have some kind of agreement, some kind of contract when you, even if you're not married or living together, you could still say, um, I'm paying these bills, I'm going to be doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. The other person says the same thing. You both sit down together, have a conversation about what you're expecting and what you're expected to do. And you might have to make some changes, you might have to make some sacrifices, give up something, they give up something, so that you all can bring it together, and so that you'll have clarity about the relationship, so that every month when the bill time comes, you're not going to argue, because you already know I'm paying this, he's paying that, and you can move on into something else. Nothing to say about it. Just, put your money up at that point. So that could be very helpful, and definitely can help prevent some arguments in the future. Just taking some time to be clear about what you expect and what you feel like you want to give. Um, and again, that goes back to that communication, which is very key to being clear and to stopping those arguments. And then another thing I wanted to also suggest is to get readings. You definitely would want to get an astrology chart. You want to get your numerology chart. Get as many readings as possible to actually see if you all are compatible. Sometimes we are attracted to people who we're not compatible with at all. And, it's written in the stars. You can see it. So we're in that case, we're trying to force something that might not be meant to be, and it could be a lifelong term of arguments and just confrontation because of that. So that those are the kind of things that you want to know, so that you're not setting yourself up for such a thing. And you can easily find out. It's not that hard to find out. And once you get that information, use it. Make the changes, do what you need to do what's best for yourself and those children. um, get out if it's really bad and you're getting hurt and really abused. Definitely get out, seek some help. And I pray that this information will be helpful. I love you all so much. I am available for readings and consultations. You can visit us online for that information. And you can definitely seek out other spiritual people who are in your area, and I'm sure they can do the same. Give you some help as far as that spiritual consultation and readings and things of that nature. All right, so until the next time. Love yourself, love each other. Much love, peace and blessings. I'm Uja Seneb. Um, Sometimes we have people who are in our circle, family or friends, who are watching us go through abuse or watching us abuse, and we don't say anything, and that I need to call a red flag on that, because at this point, we have to begin to tighten our circles. We have to be more supportive of each other and doing the right things. So we should step up, when we see these situations happening. Either way, speak up, try to intervene in some way and be of assistance to help, because we want to build strong families, and sometimes young people especially don't know how to do that, and having elders and other people who have done it around to assist can be very helpful, especially when there's children involved.